In this attack plan, ELF, Earth Liberation Front, is attacking the three main potato providers for McDonald's. ELF does not agree with McDonald's using natural resources such as potatoes for their french fries to earn a profit from. ELF hopes to put a huge dent in McDonald's since their consumers will not be able to purchase their favorite side item, french fries. ELF will be using Colorado potato beetles to attack the three main farms that supply potatoes to McDonald's. ELF hopes the beetles will devastate the majority of the potatoes, resulting in a consumer drop for McDonald's. By targeting their largest potato provider, McDonald's will not be able to meet consumer demands for their french fries. Because of the large impact this insect can have on potato crops, many farms already have preventative measures put into place to combat the Colorado potato beetle. One of the most popular ways is to use pesticides. However, these pesticides must be rotated in order to prevent the development of a variety of beetles who are resistant to the one pesticide that is being used. Another preventative measure to take is to purchase potato seeds that mature in less than 80 days. Most adult beetles begin eating around midsummer. By planting these early maturing varieties, the potatoes will be ready for harvest sooner, thus reducing the damage done by the adult beetles. These beetles also feed on some common weeds, such as nightshade and ground cherry. Getting rid of this alternative food source will help to get rid of the beetle population in an area. There is also a naturally occurring fungus called Boveria bassiana that will kill both larvae and adults. This fungus is not harmful to the potato plants. Therefore, farmers could use this fungus to combat the Colorado potato beetle. When it comes to detecting trespassers, many farms have already installed security cameras around their fields. However, this is not always effective, depending on how often the footage is checked and how informed the trespassers are about the location of these cameras. Colorado potato beetles are fairly common across North America. Because of their potential to cause great harm to potato crops, potato farmers are typically well aware of what the insect looks like and the signs of an infestation. However, if a farmer is unable to identify the beetle, they can contact their local extension agent of entomology at a credible university. The most obvious form of the beetle to identify is one who's fully matured. Adult Colorado potato beetles average 3/8 inches in length and are an oval shape. They have a black head with a yellow-orange prothorax and a yellow wing cover with black stripes. Mature female beetles can lay up to 350 eggs in her lifetime. They lay their clusters of bright, waxy yellow-orange eggs on the underside of leaves. When these larvae first hatch, they are brick red with a black head. Colorado potato beetles can also be identified by the damage they cause. Larvae will eat the tips of new foliage first. The adult beetles will eat the leaf, but will leave the skeleton. Colorado potato beetle adults will continue to eat the plant down to the tuber.
Due to the preventative measures already put in place, the sudden identification of adult beetles on their crops would signal a red flag for producers. The Colorado potato beetle is prevalent throughout the country, and mature insects are known to be spotted around the time of ELF's release. But the larval form of the beetle attack different from parts of the crops. So if there was an infestation, it would have been spotted earlier in the year by farmers. The close proximity of affected farms is another identification that the international attack has occurred. Producers in the area would communicate with each other if all of a sudden there was an influx in adult pests contaminating their crops. The next resource to contact would be the crop extension or outreach, who would help them decide if an extra application of pesticide is appropriate for the sudden infestation. A scientist would take a trip out to the respective farms and test the soil and leaves in order to identify the chemical levels they contain. Insurance companies will be notified to assist in crop management decisions and potential loss. There is a 4-week window of detection and eradication before the eggs that have been laid start to hatch. The main objective would be to keep the potato beetles from destroying the farmer's entire supply. Biological controls, which have to be applied in order to destroy the adult insects. Harvesting is not an option due to the time at which the beetles are released. Potatoes are gathered anywhere from June to October and thus would not be ready in time. Due to the small scale of the attack, a response team is not needed for these farms. The crop manager and employees are more than capable of taking care of the issues internally. A mixture of 5,000 two-spotted and spine soldier stink bugs, a natural predator to a Colorado potato bean, will be released on each farm to take care of the infestation without pesticide use. Trial cams, sensors, and drones, if not already in place, should be installed in order to decrease the chances of further infestation on farm. Potato crops can survive some defoliation, so the damage will be minimal when matched against predation and preventative measures that we already have in place. Harvest can proceed as scheduled. It will be beneficial to plow the soil after harvest and rotate crops for a season in order to reduce the overwintering beetle population. There were 3 suspected farms involved in the attack plan, and there were no animals harmed in the process. Most farmers have insurance on their farms, whether it's crop insurance or livestock insurance. All 3 farmers have crop insurance for $50 per acre, meaning 2 farms pay a total of $5,000 a month for each crop insurance because they both have 100 acres, while one farm, the woman's farm, only has 30 acres of potatoes, and the other 70 acres are used for other crops. So she's spending a total of $1,500 for her 30% of acre for her potatoes only. The pesticide used on all 3 farms are Bondag Colorado potato bean concentrate. This pesticide greatly helps reduce the amount of potato beetles attacking their crops. At $23.23 per pint, it would be cheaper to buy in bulk, which would be $20.34 for a pint of a 12-pint case. 2 farms with 100 acres had to purchase 6 cases, all with 12 pints, equaling 72 pints altogether, meaning 1,152 fluid ounces of pesticide at $243.84 per case. 12 pints per case, or 1,152 fluid ounces. The total cost for one treatment of 100 acres would cost $1,463.04. A 1,500-gallon propelled sprayer is used, and the farmer had it beforehand. 2 ounces of pesticide is diluted for every 1 gallon of water. As explained earlier, 2 of the farms use the method to spread their pesticides multiple times a year. Only 10,000 beetles were put into each farm, and with 100 acres, and there would be only about a 0.01% yield loss before they were noticed. Only if all 10,000 beetles survived the trip to the farm and none of them died beforehand because there were previous pesticides applied to the crops and transporting problems, making the farmers lose $200 to $1,000 in crop loss. On the woman's farm, she would only have to pay $439 to treat her 30% of acres containing potatoes out of 100 acres. The yield loss would be a little bit higher because she has a small amount of acreage of potatoes, mainly because she has a small amount of acres of potatoes. Although farmers always plan in their estimates yield loss because things like that just happens. The potato beetles are noticed by one of the farmer's employees. They all 3 have 10 employees each on the field who are getting paid $10 an hour, equaling $100 an hour for all of them combined together. And the workers work a typical day of 8 hours. This makes the cost of the employees $800 a day for all of them combined. There was a crop specialist that came to the farm to identify what the verdict was concerning the type of pest, all at McDonald's expense. To prevent this incident from happening again, all 3 farmers will keep putting the same amount of pesticides on their plants because the beetles really wouldn't do a significant amount of damage. They will also be using a more natural way of getting rid of the beetles. All the farms will invest in a two-spotted and spine soldier stink bugs. These stink bugs eat Colorado potato beetles, larvae, and adults. This will greatly help reduce the amount of Colorado potato beetles. All three farmers will purchase 5,000 stink bugs with a rough guess of 35 cents each bug, equaling a total amount of $1,500 for each farm. This is extremely cost efficient because they really only need to do it once because after they are released, the food chain takes its order. There's no extra cost to maintain these stink bugs, and they are an efficient and effective way of getting rid of the beetles with the best way possible and no further pesticide use on the crops. Though they also do invest in a $2,000 agricultural drone to further check their crops and the status of them so they can identify any other occurring problems as they come up and are able to attend them at a more timely manner in hopes that any crop loss in the future will be reduced significantly. With this machine, they will to, have to have annual updates costing them $100 to $500 annually. The highest amount of money a farmer would have to spend to prevent this attack and to treat it if it were to happen, and the yield loss that would occur as well would be $12,000 $264.04. The minimum amount of money that they would have to use to fight this attack would be $6,000 $539. Overall, I believe this attack could potentially happen. The Colorado potato beetles are known to be resistant to many pesticides and GMO crops, meaning they will be hard to eliminate. Also, the beetles reproduce very rapidly and are hard to contain. Since they reproduce rapidly, it wouldn't take a lot of beetles to perform this attack. Once released, the crops would be devastated and it would be very difficult to eliminate the beetle population in consideration to the extreme difficulty of eliminating the beetles. I believe this attack should be prevented. If the attack were to happen, millions of dollars would be lost in potatoes and millions would be lost in cleaning up the mess that was made. However, I do not believe that the governor or president should be involved in preparing for the scenario. I do not believe it's necessary in using high amounts of tax dollars in preventing an attack like this. While ELF is targeting a large amount of potatoes to attack, there's still many more potatoes available for the food market. Also, this attack would really only impact the potatoes provided to McDonald's, so it wouldn't impact all the residents of the United States. If the attack would have focused on all the potatoes providing to the United States, then the governor and president should be involved in preventing the attack. In conclusion, it would be wise for McDonald's to try to prevent the attack from occurring. They will lose a lot of revenue due to dramatic decrease in their french fry supply. However, I do not believe that the president or governor should be involved in preventing the attack. The attack would only impact the consumers that demand french fries from McDonald's, which is not a critical value.